Hi everyone and welcome for another astrology video. This time it'll be about the full moon of September 10, 2022. It's a quite interesting full moon. Why? First, full moon in Pisces, the moon is in conjunction with Neptune and it gives a strong Pisces impact, meaning, you probably remember we had a really strong conjunction in Pisces, Neptune, Jupiter, and Venus in April this year in 2022. So it is the full moon in Pisces. So that kind of awakens all the strength that have been given in Pisces during this great conjunction in the month of April. So basically, lots of intuition, lots of emotions, very strong energy coming there for anyone that want to go deeper into his own perceptions, his own intuition, everything subtle. It will be very encouraged, very reinforced. So this is an important moment. I'm going to show you two configurations happening in the sky in the zodiac at that moment on the full moon of September 10. So the first one is including that conjunction of the full moon itself, moon and Neptune in Pisces. Then we go with the trine to the south node in Scorpio, and then a sextile to the sun in Virgo, then a trine to the north node in conjunction with Uranus in Taurus, and then again a sextile back to moon and Neptune in conjunction. You see that rectangle there, blue rectangle? There are of course two red lines in the middle because there are two oppositions. First opposition is the lunar nodes, made of course with the south node in Scorpio and the north node in Uranus in conjunction. And the other one is the luminaries, we call them the sun in Virgo, the moon in Pisces in conjunction with Neptune. So you see that rectangle, blue rectangle, and basically the main influence of that configuration is the reinforcement of the Pisces strength, meaning lots of intuition. It's strong, it's something big. So we can receive some messages, some intuition, like our perceptions will be way more productive. We'll be able maybe to understand things in a way that is more subtle than ever before. So our consciousness will have access to some levels of perceptions we never went before there. So some new things for our, for our own happiness. Because when we have a strong perceptions that never ever before our consciousness, did have access to such subtle type of consciousness, very, very often it comes with a really high level of joy. Why? Because when we have new perceptions, very often we are in subtle plans, we're accompanied by some kind of a luminous being. And there, I don't want to precise how to call them, how to name them. I'm going to leave this open so that everybody feels included into this vision. But basically, some kind of help from the invisible world that is there and accompany us to get to this level of perception. So, and that's why we feel so much joy when we understand something for the first time, when finally we understand something so subtle and it's a new level of consciousness for us. Why are we so happy? Because we are actually accompanied by some type of luminous being, I'd say, and we're kind of in the aura of that being. And the joy comes from that aura. So we're very, very happy to be in this space. So this is that blue rectangle in short. Let's have a look at the second configuration, which is the main one, because it's quite specific, quite not unique, but it's something we don't look at very often. So you see all those red lines? So it's all based on one opposition, Mercury in Libra and Jupiter in Aries. So we have this opposition. And then if we start from Mercury in Libra and we follow that red line of the opposition, and then we go a bit more than halfway through, we actually find this 135 degrees aspect it's yeah, and it's connecting Pluto and Capricorn and Mars and Gemini. So we have this red line there, 135 degrees, and this one is the first perpendicular red line there that you see. The second one is again perpendicular aspect, red line on, and we just keep going, and then it's a square between Saturn in Aquarius and a conjunction of Uranus and the North Node in Taurus. And then we finally can access Jupiter following that opposition line. So you see the shape that it has, very strong red aspects there. It's a big configuration, and if we look at it in a global way, we find that it includes 3 air signs, so all air signs, 2 earth signs, and 1 fire sign. So for the air signs, usually when we have 3 air signs in one big configuration, including the whole zodiac, we usually think about a great trine, like 3 trines all connected together. And usually they're all in the same elements, those. And that's what usually connects all 3 signs of the same element together. But not this time. This time it's done with only red lines. It's done with oppositions, it's done with this 135 degree aspect, I forgot the English name for this one, and the square also. So it's all done in one configuration with red lines that are different. That brings usually the red lines more tension, and the tension, we don't have to see this as a negative thing. We should look at those tensions as movement, as an impulse that is being put in. So it's not only something that, the energy is flowing gently. There's an impulse, there's some movement that is coming in. So the air signs are pushing strongly. All 3 air signs are there. So it means the result of this great configuration first come from an intent. The air signs are connected to the thought of human beings, to the mental plane. And so it's an intent that says there's a change to bring. There's a change coming in. So we have to change something. And then what do we have to change? Well, there are 2 earth signs. So this is second, and this is Capricorn and Taurus that are involved in this configuration. So it says what needs to be changed is very physical. It's material because it's earth sign, the more dense element. And then we have 1 fire sign, Jupiter in Aries, and this is for me like a seal. It's like, it's a seal saying, yes, this change is good, and you have like the king seals on the thing. It's showing, it's a mark, it's kind of a seal that is put there, and it is good to make this change. And it's kind of blessed. This change is blessed, is accepted by some type of authority. That's this Jupiter in Aries. Jupiter in Aries is starting a new cycle. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. So he's there as, Jupiter could be seen as the king, some type of authority. And he's blessing, he's giving his seal to what's happening. So let's put this in a more practical context, just to make sure everybody is on the same page. And this is something you might have heard before. It's not something necessarily new. What is so special is that the whole zodiac with all the planets and everything are actually working and helping us to do what I'm gonna say right now. So we're working with the planets, not against them. We're working with everything that is the energies that are present, that are helping us to do things, not against them. So sometimes what I'm gonna say, sometimes it's some type of action, something to do. Well, we might have heard it before, but sometimes we do it and we do it against all odds. This time, all odds are in favor because the planets are working with us, hands in hands to make this happen. We just have to be able to read, the planets and the astrology that is out there. So what is it? What is it? What is this action that we're helped to do to make happen? It's very simple. It's to change something physical around us that is impregnated with some memories, that is actually having serious impacts in our lives. And very often, we tend to think this is not very important. And I'm gonna give a few examples. For example, someone is a writer. He's using a pen or a pencil, or I don't know what exactly he's using, but he's using something to write. Could even be a typeboard. Anyway, he's using something to write. And let's say he changes that pen, that pencil. Well, we could think it doesn't change anything. Yes and no. Or the type of paper he's using, or I don't know, the program he's using if he's typing it on the computer. Or if he's just dictating it on some type of technology, whatever it is. If he changes the thing, the memories associated with what he was using before will be changed. So of course, lots of it is already inside himself, not only on the material world, but there's some memories that are out there in the things surrounding us. And if we change that thing, things will change. And it's that air energy that is proposing to change something around us to help us make the real change in our lives. Of course, the real change will happen only when inside ourselves the whole process will be accomplished. But that being said, if we help ourselves changing a few things strategically, we don't have to change everything because that would pollute so much. But if there's something simple that is due to be changed, and we know, if I change this and I put some specific intent into it, maybe it will have some really good impact in my life, because the memories I'm going to be putting will be that seal of Jupiter, and that seal you should actually be able to visualize that it's, I don't know, the luminous being that you prefer the most, that you really like, specifically for the type of work or usage that thing is used for. And think about it, what seal you want to put there, what mark, something good, something beneficial for you that will help you out to move on in your life, to change some things that you want to change, and basically to reach this conjunction of Moon and Neptune in Pisces, to reach this higher level of consciousness, this new way of understanding something, this new way of doing something with a new type of consciousness. And that's where we see that both configurations work together. They're both connected to the lunar nodes. So they are actually working on the destiny of humanity. Lunar nodes are outlining destiny points for humanity. So when they are included in such big configurations together, and they're part of both configurations, that's for sure we're working on humanity's destiny. So if we change some things, there will be lots of impact in our lives. Think about it. Some people, design things to actually change us, to make us use those things more. Think about a phone, for example. Its designs and the apps in it and everything, it's all designed so that we use it more and more and more. We want it more and more and more. Why is there a camera in a phone? Because it makes it useful. People will use it more, etc., etc. You understand the type of idea where we're going, the images, the memories in things. It's everywhere. One really good example, our clothing. What we dress with. This is important. There are memories there. There are already memories just because of the color of what we're wearing, just because of the fabric that is there. Is it natural fabric? What kind of natural fabric? Where it was done, etc., etc. There are memories in there. There are some already. So if you buy new clothing, of course, we consecrate it first. We consecrate our clothing, we put a seal on it, we do all this so that the memories are cleaned off to start with, and we use what's there, the type of design, the color of it, we use what's there so that when we put our intent, it's harmonious with what we want. And I'm talking about clothing. For some people, it's a detail, it's not very important. Think about it. Our clothing is really close to our aura. It's basically the same thing. Let's say it's just really material. Our aura is just out of our skin, you know, those more subtle parts of ourselves that are, you know, emanating from us. Well, our clothing is kind of the same. So our clothing is actually exactly in that place of our aura. So they actually work together. It's not a fusion, but they do work together and they impact each other. So if we change our clothing to help our aura to get better, well, that's a good idea. That's a way of using this configuration for sure. So if there's some clothing that you think, oh, well, that color I need this color actually in my aura. I need this color in my aura. So think about it. What do you need in terms of it could be a color, it could be also a fabric, could be a certain design that you need just to, I don't know, someone needs more structure. Well, if he find a fabric that will help him to have a better structure in his life, and you'll see some clothing, some designs, it's clear that they help this out. Some less. So you see a little bit what's there and think about it and give it a specific intent. So changing some clothings, don't have to change the whole thing, just one thing with a specific intent and you'll be using that configuration already. Think that it's connecting with your aura directly. Your clothing is connected to your aura. There's no question there. It's for sure. It's it's so close. It's together. So of course it's there. So look at all those things and you'll find out that changing a few material things will really help out to make the change in your life that you really want to make happen. And we need some serious changes because we see how the world is going. We see everything and we know things have to change. Well, we have now with that configuration, we're giving ourselves the means to make it happen. At the level we are able to make that change, you know, depending, you know, to change, I don't know, some things are hard to change. For example, changing your house because, oh, there are bad memories in my house. Changing the house is tough. But you could actually just paint the walls again, at least for one room. And if you get at it, you could as well, you know, write nice, beautiful prayers on the walls. So you know they're impregnated. There's a seal in your wall. Then you put the paint and it disappears. Nobody will know. But you actually consecrated your room. You did it. And it's there. It's in the memory of your walls. And some people will think, oh, this is hocus pocus. What nonsense. Like material things influence me? No, I'm stronger than this. I have my own inner temple. Anything exterior to me is not temple. It's not something that has influence. It's just material things, right? It doesn't move me. I'm stronger than those things. Yes and no. Sometimes we are, sometimes we're not. Think about it. We're not strong at all times, all the time. We're not always, you know, at our max energy. Sometimes we're vulnerable, really vulnerable. And then those things are either helping us or pulling us down. So according to the memories that are impregnated in the things around us, well, it changes the whole thing in our own life. And if you want an example of this, think about when you were in the womb of your mother. And this, and your bodies, I mean, are your physical body, but also your more subtle bodies were not formed yet. So they have been formed. So now you say, oh, I'm stronger than those things. What is stronger? Your physical body, then your emotional body, your mental body? Okay, I can understand. But those bodies, they've been formed at some point. When they were formed and developed, they were formed and developed according to the conditions that were there. Those conditions, that included the physical things around us. It really did. Think about it. Even our mom, her emotions, well, things around her affected her emotions, and that's for sure. If you have a bad memory with one thing, you don't want to see it anymore. Well, of course you don't want to see it anymore. It's clear. I don't know. You broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and there's one thing that person offered you. Well, you feel something special about it. There's a memory there. So this is obvious. But it's the same for everything. All the memories we had, all the things around us, they're filled with it. And they do have an impact on us. Think about when we were in the womb of our mother. It is so obvious that the conditions around us influence the creation of our body. Very simple. No, I won't go there. No, it's enough examples. So I hope you get the point and that you see that those physical things and our inner self, our inner life is not that much far apart. If you look at it and you keep looking and you think about it and you calculate exactly at every single moment what is doing what exactly, what is influencing us for real, you'll see that in fact they're not separated. It's just different densities, different ways of influencing. And yes, our inner life is strong, so it has strong power. Our willpower is strong. So usually, yes, we have the ability to go beyond all those memories around us. And someone really strong, like a great spiritual master, for example, would be able to do that at all time for sure. But for us that are not, that trained and that conscious of everything, well, those things are important. Look at it precisely and you'll see it's not even separated. It's just different level of influences, some very physical, but some goes also on the more subtle, and then it reaches us as well. And it's all the same thing. It's a whole. So if we do change some things around us, and that's what this configuration talks about, we will act and we seal it. We put a seal, the Jupiter and Aries seal on it. Well, then that will help us into tuning in some new level of consciousness, accomplishing new things, and we know that it's necessary. We see how the whole planet situation, how it's evolving. We know we have to make changes. We know we have to do this. If you watched the previous video, even we talked about some, our comfortable moments of happiness. Well, even this can evolve. Well, how can we do this? Now, we learned it from the last video. We touched it for the people that did watch and really get into it. We touched this reality of, yes, we can evolve. We can let that space evolve and move towards a higher level of love, let's say. But it's not that easy to do. Well, that full moon is giving us means to get there. So I hope you get the idea. It's pretty strong, those influences. It's a nice full moon, charged with lots of energy. Hope you see the full picture and that you appreciate. If you do, please like, comment, share the video. There's almost no views on my video. It's a new channel. I usually do this in French. Of course, you notice my accent, but I've been asked to do it also in English for some friends. And I thought, well, sure, that's a good idea. Let's do it. But then now that it's done, just to allow more people to benefit from it, because it's a fairly rare way of interpretation of astrology, I'm sure many people can benefit from it. Well, please share and subscribe to the channel and try to give it some visibility. I think it's really worth it. Well, that's my wish, and I'll see how it's going with time. Hope to be able to continue this English channel over time. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time for another astrology video.